There we go. Hold on, hold on. I have an idea. Hey everyone, say hi if you're in the chat. It's quite cold today, so I have my gloves on, but I think I can get my microphone out. Let's see, a few people were already waiting here. Abe, Rebecca, welcome, welcome. Hold on one second. I think I can set this down here for a second like that. Yeah, there we go. Kaylee, hey. Okay, I got it. That way you'll be able to hear me better. Sometimes there is construction going on around here. Put that in my ear. There we go. Okay. Can you hear me any better now? Does this sound better? Please let me know. I have no way of knowing. All right, nice. There we go. Okay. There aren't very many people here, so that's good. I just wanted to kind of walk around the park. This place right here is near Hongdae. Actually, I'm right next to Hongdae. There's like a little. Oh, actually, I won't say my exact location. I'll just say I'm right next to Hongdae. And typically, a lot of people come around here to walk in the morning, though since it's cold weather lately, there aren't very many people here. Are you in Seoul? Yes, I am in Seoul right now. Eve Rebecca says, surprised we're not in Suwon Fortress. Yes, that's right. We're not in Suwon this time. But never say never. Usually I am in Suwon during the summertime, and in the winter time, like right now, I am in Seoul. Okay, I'm actually looking for a place that I can kind of sit down, or do you prefer that I just keep walking around? There aren't too many people out, so it's kind of okay to walk around. I don't like going in really busy areas anyway. What time is it? Right now it is 10 o'clock. It's 10 o'clock right here. So I woke up about 3 hours ago and checked the weather, and it said it's going to be freezing cold today. However, it's not. Right now, I think it's not too bad. It's kind of it's actually better than it was yesterday. So we'll see. Alba Tool says it's 3 o'clock after midnight. Wow. Okay, right now, if you know where we are, you know where we are. This is a pretty famous place I'm at right now. But yeah, I don't want to say exactly where I am to avoid getting sniped or anything. If you know, you know. It's that place. Okay, I think here's pretty nice. I could probably sit down here for a second to read some of your comments. Let me know where you're all watching from today. Clara says, I lived so close, all the memories. Yes. Yeah, you might know where we are. Greece, US, Chicago. Someone said all of the K-pop idols are here too. I don't know about right here. Somewhere within a 100-mile radius. Yeah, I'm sure. They're all here. Yes, everyone is gathered together. Okay, let's see. Yeah. For cold weather, see, I buttoned my coat. I don't even think I need to button my coat. It's not that cold, but my hands are still cold. I don't know about you, but when the weather gets really cold, usually my body's okay. Like My legs don't get cold, you know, my arms are kind of okay. But what does get cold is my ears and my fingers specifically. My fingers get really cold. JC noticed, yes, JC, that's correct. I have filmed other videos here. I filmed a few videos with my friend Forrest here, so you might recognize the background. I'm just sitting down for a bit. We'll continue moving again. Just wanted to make sure we have a nice introduction before we're gonna go take a walk. Where else are all of you from? Still reading your comments. Queensland, Australia, Canada, St. Louis, Singapore, Philadelphia, Phoenix, Arizona, LA, France, Springfield, Illinois, Mexico, Colorado, Midwestern US, Chicago, Greece, Tennessee. Bonnie asks, have I ever gone to, actually you asked it in Korean. Wait, no, sorry, that wasn't Bonnie. That was right above Bonnie, who said she's from Tennessee. Fish asks, 호주로 여행해 본 적 있으세요? Have you ever traveled to Australia before? No, but someday I would like to. I have some family members in, I believe it's Melbourne. Yeah, Melbourne. So someday I'd like to. Welcome to Lexica from Oakland, California. That's right. Katie says, what part of the US are you from? I am from Los Angeles originally, born and raised there, lived almost my entire life there. Now, here and there, I've been in other places. For example, right now I'm in Seoul. JC says you should do a live teaching event in LA someday. Funny you should say that. All of my classes are from LA. It's not actually like when I do my live classes, it's actually a green screen behind me, and I'm in LA the whole time. It's just through the power of green screen, I can be anywhere I want. But unless you're talking about outside in LA, in which case, I mean, I could walk around Koreatown, but there's not really too much to see, I think. I don't think Koreatown is that cool, except for maybe some of the restaurants are nice, some of the supermarkets are nice. Alba Tool says there's no one from Egypt. Well, I'm sure there are plenty of people from Egypt, just they're not in this stream. Jay asks, so where in Seoul are you at? I am right now, I'll just say near Hongdae. Hongdae is a fairly popular place for young people to hang out. Nowadays, it's mostly, I would say, bars, cafes, restaurants, that sort of place. There isn't really too much to do here, I would say, but it's a common place to meet friends. And it used to be like the place to go when you were meeting your friends. I would say about, I don't know, 6 years ago, 7 years ago, this was the place. Like you want to hang out, you want to go somewhere cool. Yeah, follow me, man. Go to Hongdae. Now, no, but it's still quite busy. And you'll see lots of tourists visiting here too. Personally, I don't go here anymore because, like I said, there isn't really anything to do that I enjoy here. But sometimes I'll meet friends. Like if they want to meet and we're in the area, we can meet around here. But there are other places now that people will go to more often than Hongdae when they want to go to like a hip place or, you know, the cool place with all the kids. Like, yeah, I'm cool, like that kind of place. There are other places for that now. Yeah, Kat Zeppelin knows Hongdae these days is a bar and club central for young people. That's correct. Yeah, it's just pretty much you can go to clubs and that's pretty much it. What's good, y'all? You say, where is the go-to place now? Well, there are actually lots of them. So, yeah. Let me think. And it'll change every year. Like, I know there was the area, Haewa. Haewa was a really popular area for a while, but then it's no longer that area. So if you go there, it's kind of like dead most of the time. Though still, people go there. Yeonnam-dong, which is right next to Hongdae, is also pretty popular still. I would say. That's like right close, really close to here. I'll just say that. Let's see. Iksamdong was pretty popular as well. Itaewon a few years ago as well. That was like the place to be as well. It just depends what you're into, but it's no longer like one place like it used to be, I think. Like when Hongdae was the big thing, that was where you go. So yeah, everyone who's coming in right now, welcome to the stream. We're going to be walking around a little bit. Right now, I'm just kind of hanging out here and taking a break. Haebangchon. Haebangchon, I was actually there not yesterday. 3 days ago to meet a friend that's kind of near like Seoul University and all that stuff. I mean, it's for sure you can go there. It has lots of students. Like anywhere that has students has always been kind of popular, but I wouldn't consider that to be like a hit place just because they're there because they have to be. Not that other people will come from other places to go there. So yeah, anywhere near any of the big universities. So yeah, Seoul and Ide, Yonsei, they're all kind of around the same area anyway. Those areas I think don't count because they're always going to have lots of students there. Someone walking around with you can't see him, but maybe you heard him taking a walk with a Bluetooth speaker blasting trot music. Sinchon is still popular. Yeah, Sinchon has always been popular for that same reason, that it's right next to all of the schools, I would say. And that's been popular forever, but it's not like the hit place, I guess I would say. JC says, 선생님한테서 2년 동안 배웠어요. Nice, you've been learning for 2 years. Natalie says, anyone from Philly here? Cinnamon, stay welcome. And feel free to ask any questions as well. Have you seen any musical? It's a very specific question. Have you seen any musicals? Yeah, I've seen musicals before. I'm not sure. I haven't seen any musicals in Korea, but I have seen plenty of musicals back at home. Shindang and Apgujeong is pretty popular. Yeah, Apgujeong, fairly popular. I think you could pretty much say every single neighborhood in Seoul is popular, and you'd be correct. Like you can go to Yeouido near Hangang. You can go to Apgujeong, which is also not far from there. You can go to Hongdae. You could go to Yeonnam-do. You can go to literally everywhere is going to have people in it at all times, and especially in the evenings. So, and I think that's kind of what changed, is that like I'm not thinking of where's like the one place to be now. Although maybe I would still say Itaewon could still be that place. At least it was as of a couple of years ago. Yeah, it's just because everyone lives here, so everyone's going to be everywhere at all times. And also feel free, if you have any Korean questions as well, you can ask that. Do you have any advice or tips for those traveling to Korea for the first time? Yeah, I actually uploaded a video a few weeks ago, things to know, or like 5 things you should know before coming to Korea. And things like, carry around your trash. It might be difficult to find trash cans. There are stairs everywhere. That sort of stuff. I would watch that video first, but I think Korean is probably the biggest one, obviously, that you should know before you come here, at least a little bit. You should at least be able to say things like, hello, sorry, thank you. That's going to get you by. And for everything else, Koreans are typically helpful, and they speak enough English to be able to help you if you get like really lost or you have a problem. And if you want to order something at the restaurant, you don't speak Korean, you could just point at it and say, give me this, 주세요. That's going to be enough, I think, for most situations. Okay, and for everyone who's coming in as well, feel free to ask any questions. I'm going to take a walk around it a little bit. We're just kind of starting off sitting down here. It's supposed to snow actually today. That's what the my app says that it's going to snow today, but I don't see any clouds that look like snow. In fact, I still see the sun, and it's not that cold. So I don't know. I was hoping we'd get the first snow. I could show you the first snow in Korea. Superfluous, welcome. Or superfluous, I prefer. Kaylee says or asks, is there a specific place in Korea you like to go to see nature? There are a lot of places I like to go if I want to see nature. First of all, you're going to find lots of public parks in Korea. So if you just wander around Seoul, you're going to find a public park. It's a common thing, which is really nice. I wish we had that kind of thing back in LA. But because people walk around a lot, you kind of walk from bus stop to subway or subway to your house or whatever. There are lots of little public parks that you can see trees and stuff. If you want just nature, then go to any of the millions of mountains that there are. There are even lots of mountains in Seoul. You don't have to travel far if you want to go hiking and see nature. Last year I hiked Gwanaksan. I have a friend who goes hiking all the time. So I would say go hiking if you want to really experience nature. But if you just kind of want to experience nature, but you don't want your feet to get sore, or you can't walk for other reasons, then anywhere in Seoul, there are tons of parks. Even where I am right now, you could kind of see a little bit when I was walking around, but even where I am right now, there are just trees along this really old road, which actually used to be a railroad. So to kind of preserve that feeling, you'll see tracks in the ground in some parts, which is kind of interesting. But yeah. Gigafro says, has pollution gotten better? No, I'd say it's about the same. William Hagan asks, any meetups planned while you're in Korea? Not this trip, because I'm actually going back to the US next week. So this trip is too short for a meetup. Unless you happen to run into me while I'm going to a video or something like that and you want to say hi, that's fine. You might find me if you're walking around specifically this area because it's near where I'm staying. Other than that, next summer I might do something. I haven't announced it though yet, so I can't make any plans or promises. What I would really like though is to find a place that I could do a meetup. So if you know an indoor place that I could have a meetup at, that would be great. Please let me know. Because the last two times I did it at Hangang, so near the Han River. And the first time, what happened? No, the first time was fine. The second time I did it, there was there was a gigantic demonstration, like a strike kind of, not a strike, but just a demonstration that blocked up all of the roads around the area. So I was 2 hours late. Seriously, 2 hours late to my own fan meetup because of that, despite leaving an hour earlier than I needed to leave. So it took me almost 4 hours to get someplace that normally takes an hour. And then last time I went there, there was suddenly a concert set up, which was fine. The concert was from the evening, but they decided to do their sound check right when my fan meetup started. So we had to move locations. So I don't want to do another fan meetup at Han River. I feel like it's too unpredictable. Either there are protests going on, or they're really loud, or they do some big event. So I'd like to find a different place to do it first, and then I'll schedule something. Brian C. asks an interesting question. Is it worth visiting these smaller cities? Okay, so when you say smaller city, you're not referring to just the non-Seoul cities, I'm assuming, because there are many other big major cities that tourists don't usually go to from out of Korea. For example, there's Busan. If you want to, if you're in Korea, you'll go there someday. But if you're not from Korea, it's not really a big tourist attraction, I'd say. There's Daejeon, which is really big. There's Daegu as well, and a few other cities like that. But if you're talking about really smaller cities, if you're visiting Korea for the first time, I would say, I mean this honestly, but I would just stay in Seoul. If it's your first time in Korea, you're going to have a better experience, especially if you're not already fluent in Korean. You're going to have a better experience when you're surrounded by other people who can help you out. There's a great subway and bus system that's really frequent. If you miss a bus, you can take the next one 10 minutes later. You don't have to wait an hour like you would if you were to go to like Jeju or somewhere like that. You can find food, any kind of food, anywhere you are. If you really, really want a specific type of food, then you could probably find it within a 10-minute walk at most, or take a taxi if you don't want to walk. Like there's so many things to do in Seoul that even if you were to live here for many years, you wouldn't get to do all of them, or you wouldn't know about them. If you've lived in Korea though for a while, or if you're currently living in Korea and you want to change of pace, I would then say first try the big cities. So first try like Busan, right? It's still a big city, but it's not quite as crazy. I would say though, for smaller cities, if you have a specific reason, like there's a specific tourist destination you want to go to, like maybe an older temple or something, like then sure. Otherwise, I would say no, because it's going to be more inconvenient for you, especially if you have a really short trip. You're trying to catch a bus that only runs like 5 times a day. You're going to be in an area where people don't speak much English, or the road signs aren't quite as easy to follow, or you just have to walk around all day to get to where you want to go. An example was there's a city, Andong, which I actually really like. And if you want to travel around there though, to see the sights that Andong has to offer, and it does have a lot, you're gonna have to do a lot of walking, because the buses to go to specific areas will drop you off like maybe a 10-minute walk from where you're trying to go, or you'll have to take an expensive taxi or just call a taxi and wait. And unless you know where you're going and you have it all planned out already, and you're with a Korean person, I think it would be difficult to really appreciate being there. Hey, Janjus, thank you for the $10 donation. Janjus says, I'm learning Korean for the first time, and I wanted to thank you for your videos. They helped me a lot to understand the Korean grammar rules. 감사합니다. Yeah, you're welcome. Thank you so much. I will put that toward my lunch fund for today. Today, after this finishes, I'll stream until 12, and then I'll go get some lunch somewhere in the area. JD Rathit said, which is the coldest for you, Korea or USA? Well, I'm from Los Angeles, so we don't really get cold. By that, I mean, there is no cold weather. The coldest is maybe it'll hit, 0, like Celsius. I mean, maybe it'll hit freezing overnight on a few nights of winter, but it doesn't snow. Like, we don't have to deal with that kind of thing. Hail, yeah, sometimes, but not snow, never snow. Korea is definitely colder than Los Angeles. Gyeongju, Brenda says, Gyeongju is beautiful. Yeah, there are many places, if you specifically want to visit, like, I want to go to this place here, then yeah, sure, go to the smaller cities. But just know that you'll have to plan your day really well, and you'll have to leave a lot of extra time. So if you think, oh, today, well, I'll go to Gyeongju and I'll see this place, and then by lunchtime I'll take the bus back and I'll go to Seoul and I'll do this, that day might end up getting completely ruined, because you might be underestimating the amount of time that it's going to take to walk around that area and take pictures and then find the bus stop and everything like that. And I would say you have to plan more time if you're not with like a tour guide or, a local who knows the area who can help you. So just kind of keep that in mind. If you have the time, then sure. Dream EPS says, interesting. Sure. I mean, yeah, to each their own. Renz says, okay, Renz is replying to Gyeongju as well. Black Chocolate asks, would you ever permanently move to Korea? I won't say no, but I have no plans for it. Originally, I was thinking about it a lot. I've kind of been on and off. I'm okay with it. If suddenly one day my wife says we need to move to Korea, I'd be like, okay. So I'm okay with it. But personally, I wouldn't, just because I prefer the Los Angeles weather. I prefer the variety of food that I can get in the US compared to Korea. But there are many great things about being here as well. Janelle, Okay, Janelle asks a totally new question. Would it be difficult to visit Korea with food restrictions like pork or shellfish? I mean, difficult, yes. Possible, yes. But the thing is, when you're in Korea, you're going to be eating Korean food, most likely. If you're trying to just come to Korea and you can't have this certain ingredient, then you can find food that won't have that. You can even find Western food. So if I don't want to eat spicy food or I can't eat spicy food, well, you can find food that's not spicy. You can even just get, you can just get pizza if you want, really. But within Korean food, it can be more difficult for allergy stuff because some food has, fish or shellfish in it or pork or beef, and you might not even realize it. Even kimchi, for example, which is, cabbage, right? You think cabbage, it has 새우젓 in it, which is like brined shrimp. So even in regular kimchi, you still have to keep in mind it's going to have shrimp in it, unless you find kimchi that's not made with that, which will taste a little bit different, but that's fine. There are many kinds of kimchi. Just kind of keep that in mind. You might have to communicate that very clearly so that they know, like, how bad is your allergy? Like, if you have it, are you going to die? Or is it just going to make your stomach hurt? And if it's really serious, you'll have to communicate that clearly and try to find restaurants that will have food that definitely would not have that. But yeah, it's doable. I just think it would be difficult. And Black Chocolate has another good question. Okay, last question from Black Chocolate, just because I should do some other questions, but it's really good. Let's see. Are the stories of foreigners getting discriminated against really that bad? I mean, I'm sure I'm not going to discredit their experiences. I'm sure that happened, but it'll depend. I think a lot on where you're from, what you look like, but it's not going to be like the U.S. I'll say that it's not like the U.S. type of discrimination. I mean, I look like a typical American, and I've had discrimination before too, but it's not like what you would expect. It's not like, oh, go away, we hate you. It's not that kind of discrimination. It's more like, do you need a fork? Like, no, I can use chopsticks. Are you sure? Can you read Korean? Like that sort of thing is pretty common. But I mean, yeah, your mileage may vary. Everyone's going to have different experiences. I would just say, keep in mind that Korea is it opened as a country, back after the Korean War and everything, but it's still very much, there still aren't very many foreigners or non-Koreans that are in Korea. So a lot of people aren't used to it, I would say, especially older Koreans. They're not used to seeing people that don't look exactly like they do or speak exactly like they do. But I wouldn't say most people or many people are really intentionally trying to discriminate or be mean. It's more of just a misunderstanding type of thing is what I would experience most of the time. Yeah, you'll get a lot of staring, especially if you speak Korean. Everyone, even if they don't look at you, they're like trying not to look because they don't want to be rude, but they're listening. But you just kind of get used to that sort of thing. Sometimes it happens. Like I might go into a restaurant and they don't let me in. They say, "Oh, we're busy," but you can clearly see there are tables. And that's a different reason. That might just be because they're scared they might have to use English. Even if you use Korean, they might think, "Oh, I have to use English because I have to explain the food to them. I'll have to do all this. It's more work." It's more of that kind of thing and not a "I don't like Americans" type of thing. So still quite a conservative country. Yeah, I would say that's correct. Still, overall, Korea is very conservative. Although, it's changing, more and more young people. But yeah, still Korea is still a kind of a newly opened society relative to other countries. So yeah, it's still quite conservative. Adrix asks, actually, you know what? Let's take a little bit of a walk. It started getting a little cold again. The wind just picked up. So let's go back into walking mode. Okay, and then Adrix asks a question. I have a question. Yes. If you use formality levels wrong, are they going to be angry with you? Yes and no. Probably no. If you're asking this kind of question, the answer is no. Because if you're asking this kind of question, it means you're learning Korean. So you might be a beginner or an intermediate. I won't assume what your level is. And if you're asking this question, the answer is no. They're not going to be mad at someone who's clearly learning Korean if they misuse formality levels. If you speak Korean already, so you're already fairly good. So you could be an intermediate level, but be able to have conversations, then yes, you need to know formality levels. People might not get mad, but they wouldn't feel comfortable if you're not able to use them correctly. The only time you're going to have people get mad if you're using the formality levels incorrectly would be as if it sounds like you're doing intentionally. Like if you're someone like me or you're anyone else who can speak Korean, and there are a lot of people like me who can speak Korean, and if I'm using them wrong, then yeah, it can make people mad, because not because they don't understand I'm learning Korean, but they think that because I can now speak it, that it's intentional. So yeah, that's something that you need to learn, but you don't have to really stress about it, because by the time you're speaking Korean anyway, you'll know those. Locke says, if you speak Korean and make a mistake, just add yo and a high tone to make it sound like a question. So like, I guess you could say that, like if you're trying to say you're hungry and you're like, 배고파, but you're like, oh wait, no, 배고파 yo? then it sounds like you messed up asking a question. That's true. Then they probably wouldn't get mad. They would just think you asked an awkward question. Right now, though, is still autumn colors in Korea. So you can see there's like really nice reds in the trees and everything. So you get like greens, reds, and yellows. Fish says, is there a situation where using 높임말 is appropriate to a stranger? Oh, always. Yeah. Or you mean inappropriate? I see. Yeah, inappropriate. I mean, you wouldn't. The thing is that how you define it, it depends on how you define it. So if you're defining it as the 으시다 ending, so like the honorific ending, then yeah, you wouldn't use that all the time. But if you're just referring to it meaning like polite speech, then I mean, if you're like joking around, you might not want to use it. So I wouldn't say inappropriate, but there are times when you can get away with using less polite, so less formal speech, and it still sounds fine depending on what you're doing. But typically the answer would be no, you always want to be polite. Okay, now we're kind of going for a walk. There's this, you can see this like row of trees right behind me. Also, let me show you something. These. I like these. You'll see these a lot around Korea. I want to say the name of this plant because I think I know what it is, but I don't want to be dumb and wrong, but it looks like okse. But typically you see okse and it's not green like this, it'll be brown, which I think is actually prettier. But I'm not a plant expert. April's Corner asks, does your wife speak English? She's very good at English, actually. Can she speak it? Yes, speaks it very well. Does she speak it? No, she doesn't speak English. In fact, it's kind of, and maybe I tease her a bit when she suddenly uses English because she just doesn't use it so often that it, yeah. But no, it's Korean typically. I hear someone playing music in the background. I think it's out of a speaker. Oh yeah, that's one thing you should know. Okay, well, I actually want to walk back because I don't want to, just in case if it's like some copyrighted music, then it's going to end up deleting this part of the stream. But you can clearly hear it's like, it's beginning to look a lot like Christmas. Okay, I'm actually going to go back this way because there's nothing over on the other side. Oh, wait, yeah, let's go around this side. Okay. And, oh, yeah, and maybe I can show you the train tracks while we're over here. So that's one thing that you should know is that in Korea, there is Halloween these days typically for young adults, I would say, will go out, partying on Halloween and wear costumes and stuff like that. But there is no Thanksgiving. So what you get is as soon as Halloween's over, Christmas starts. So you can hear like Christmas music playing, and all of the stores will set up like Christmas lights and Christmas trees and stuff in October and definitely from November. So yeah, there's a cafe right next to me that's playing. It's beginning to look a lot like Christmas. And yeah, a little bit early, but that's just how they do it. Okay. Oh, Katie asks, is there trick-or-treating? No, there is no trick-or-treating. Definitely no. Okay, this is kind of what I was talking about before. You can see on the floor. So I don't know if these are the original ones, like they might have kept some original ones, or if they reinstalled new ones in the same locations. But yeah, there used to be a train going through here. And on the floor, when you're walking around, you can still see the train tracks. So I can show you that. But since the trains run straight, of course, mostly, they'll just kind of disappear into a building. Now we get the Christmas music again. Okay, let's see. Seabiscuit says, last 2 trips I made to Korea were in January. I love that the Christmas trees were still up far into January. Yeah, that's another thing that you'll notice is that Christmas starts in October and it ends in somewhere in like February, depending on the place. But yeah, it's Christmas is a pretty big thing though here, but it's also very different than what we do in the States. So when we think of Christmas, typically it's Christmas dinner. The family meets together, couples meet together, we exchange gifts, we'll do stockings, Santa comes, all that stuff is with Christmas in the US. In Korea, Christmas is one thing. You can exchange gifts, well, you can give gifts to people, but that's not really the big thing. It's for couples. It's basically like maybe Valentine's Day in the US is an equivalent holiday. It's kind of like a Valentine's Day in the US, where couples will meet together, you'll go out to eat, you might give gifts. Well, yeah, you can give gifts, it's fine. And that's it. It's not like you have Christmas dinner, you don't have like Santa comes to the house and brings presents for the kids, you don't leave out, milk and cookies and stuff like that. Yeah. Brian C. asks, are there a lot of trails like that? We have rail trails all throughout New York State. No, there are not. In fact, this is the only one that I know. Maybe there's another. There's another one though. No, there's another one. Is it in Namyangju? There's another one anyway in Korea, not too far, which has like there's like a railroad that goes down a street, and you can kind of like there's shops around. But yeah, this is the only one that I know around here. Icy Leia says they have Chuseok instead. That's right. Though also Chuseok isn't really equivalent to Thanksgiving in the US. I would say it's still also a different holiday. They don't really have the same holidays. I think in the US, that's actually something that I missed was Thanksgiving. All the times I was in Korea during Thanksgiving, it's like I really miss Thanksgiving food. Zandra noticed my earmuffs. That's right. These were $1 at Taiso. And I've used them now for 3 years. They work really good. Sandra says, Don't get lost this time. Yeah, we're not going to get lost this time because M&M Twix isn't donating to the stream. I don't know where M&M Twix is. It was their fault though that time because they donated and told me to like go down this one path, and then they were telling me like which way to go, like left and right. And then I ended up getting really lost, and fortunately somehow found my way back to the same place that I started at. And then I think I took a taxi to go back or something like that. I can't remember. T3HSys says Daiso, the Japanese shop chain. No, actually, it's Korean, believe it or not. It's different than the one in Japan. It's a different company now. So the products they sell are all different too. Shelby Wu asks, is it going to snow in Seoul today? That's what the weather report said. Why is someone... How come right when I do a live stream, someone's trying to call me? I get like 2 emails. Okay, I'm going to show you the place that we were before. We're back there again. Right here. This place, though, if you come in warmer weather, there will be people sitting in all of these spots. Hey, Icy Leia. Thanks for the $2 donation. I'll put it toward my lunch fund for today. After this finishes at 12 o'clock, so about another hour or so, I'll eat lunch somewhere in this area. And I've got $12.85 right now in donations, so that should buy almost enough to buy a nice lunch here, because here is kind of expensive, I think, compared to other areas. Xandria says there are so many things that are Korean that people think are Japanese. It's not fair. Well, it's fine. Well, the reason is, so Daiso is a specific story. If anyone doesn't know, Daiso is it's the $1 shop. It's Dollar General, essentially. It's the dollar store in Korea. But it actually started in Japan. So it's not really wrong to think that it's a Japanese company. It started in Japan, and Japan expanded into Korea. But then so they had Daiso in Japan, Daiso in Korea selling the same stuff, mostly. But then the Korean one separated from the Japanese one and became a separate company. So Daiso Korea is actually no longer Daiso with the Japanese meaning, but it actually kind of has its own meaning now as like Taiso, like we have everything, which sounds like that in Korean. Oh, 인사하시겠어요? Someone just stopped. He like looked at me and waved, but I don't think I got him on the camera. Daiso sounds Korean. Yeah, the Korean one sounds like Korean. So it has different meaning in Korean and Japanese. But yeah, the Korean one is very Korean now. So if you buy stuff there, it's not the same stuff you can find in Japan. And I should know, I've been to both before. I've been to the Japanese one as well as the Korean one before. They're doing some construction. Becca says, I love your videos. I've been studying Korean with your content. Thanks. Jessica asks, when does it usually snow? It usually snows in December for the first snow. That's why I don't believe the weather report today that says it'll snow. If it's correct, it should start snowing like now or after like 10-20 minutes. But I don't think it will. Alita says, do you ever get any pushback when you're out live streaming? No, because I try not to like, I don't put my camera in other people's faces. I'm just kind of out here doing my own thing. So I think most people don't care. But what I do get, which is kind of funny, is sometimes people who are trying to avoid appearing on the camera, they'll walk behind me thinking that I'm streaming forward, and then they don't realize that then they walk right by me. In fact, that happened during this stream already. Several people were trying to avoid being in the stream, but they avoided it by going behind me and then appearing in the stream. But I could totally see them walking around, and then, yeah, they'd walk behind me. I didn't say anything. I'm like, whatever, if you want to, if you think I'm showing the ground and you think you'd rather go behind me, then sure. But yeah, a lot of people don't like being filmed though, without asking, of course. There is that kind of thing in Korea. Zandria asks, oh yeah, welcome JC, our new member. Thanks for joining. And Zandria asks, what's a great place to shop in Seoul that's foreigner friendly? Even if you speak the language, where might be some mistakes and I'm worried. Okay, a place to shop. Probably Insadong is going to be okay for that. I actually made a video about that, but I haven't posted it yet because I have way too many others to post before that. But I did do a video about Insadong. Or did I already post it? I honestly don't know, because I film a lot of videos and then I'll post them one at a time, out of order. JC says, thanks for giving us such great videos. I hope to speak Korean half as well as you. Oh yeah, sure, of course, why not? Let's see. Actually, I could walk down across the street, but that'll be into a busy area. I think I might stay around here, because here it's not that busy. Lotte Tower. I've actually not been inside there. I've seen it a lot. Manolius or Men, I can't read your name. Manoyela? Okay. Says Myeongdong is a good place to shop. I disagree. I think if you're looking for cosmetics, then yeah, Myeongdong is great, because originally lots of shops are set up there specifically for tourists who want to buy Korean things. So Korean food, Korean cosmetics, right? Beauty supplies, Korean souvenirs, all that stuff originally is in Myeongdong, but Myeongdong got completely saturated with it, and they would continue to, raise their prices. Like, oh, foreigners are going to pay it. They don't know. Raise their prices, lower their quality. Oh, foreigners aren't going to know what Korean food tastes like. It doesn't matter. And that happened so much that, but Myeongdong was still really popular. Everyone goes there. But then after COVID hit and Myeongdong died, a lot of these shops closed because they can't operate at those, they have these, this market is for foreigners, and there are no foreigners, there are no travelers, they can't survive. So now it's kind of coming back up again, but I wouldn't recommend there for shopping unless you're just looking for like cosmetics and stuff, because I've had a lot of the street food there, and some of the street food there is like the worst I've ever had. And you can get a lot better street food in other places, I think. Brian C., welcome. Thanks for joining. Let's see. L Blend asks, have you taken the TOPIK test? I made a video about this actually with my friend Forrest. I think we actually filmed it. No, we filmed it at a archery cafe, never mind. And we talked about that. I haven't taken it before. What do you think about it? I think it's great. If you're trying to measure your success with learning the language, like you want something tangible that can tell you how much Korean you've learned, I think it's great. But if you don't need it, and I wouldn't take it. I think it takes a lot of work to do. That's why I haven't taken it, is just the sheer amount of practice I would have to do for that test, specifically because I'm not a very good test taker. And then the test result expires after like 2 years or something. So even if I told someone I got TOPIK 6, well, I couldn't keep saying that 2 years later because it's no longer valid. The test is different. Oh, hey, Casey. Oh, Kaylee, sorry. I was thinking of Jason C. and Kaylee at the same time. Kaylee, get yourself a nice lunch. Oh, thank you so much, Kaylee. Okay, I have $22. I think I can get myself a decent lunch for today. Awesome. Thank you so much. Really appreciate it. I'll be eating as soon as this live stream finishes. But I'm not hungry right now because I actually met a different YouTuber, actually a couple yesterday from the YouTube channel 한국어 한 조각, so a piece of Korean. And they gave me a box of 6 giant cookies. So I actually ate 2 of those giant cookies for breakfast. So I'm not hungry right now, so I'm okay. But as soon as this stream ends, then yeah, I'm going to be pretty hungry. Oh, it's getting colder now. Hold on, I have my my gloves. I'm going to cover my fingers with them. So now I can be like this. Let's do that with my other glove too. Hold on. There we go. That'll be warmer so my fingers don't freeze. No, Zandria, by preparing, I mean preparing for the test. So it's not really it's not just you walk in there and they grade your Korean and you walk out. It's not one of those things. It's not like getting a test for something. It's a specific type of test. So you have to prepare for the types of questions they're going to ask in advance. For example, it's not just that you can read it and answer the questions, it's that you can read it and answer questions within the amount of time, and the questions are trick questions. So they might ask you like, which of the following is not an appropriate summary for the previous article you read? And it'll be like, the answers will also be similar. Like, Jane would like to go to the supermarket. Jane wants to meet her friend Billy. And that sort, and like all of them kind of appear in the article, but you have to figure out which one is the most unlikely to be the summary. Like that type of question, you know what I'm talking about. Like, it's not just, oh yeah, I read it. Oh, of course I understand it. No. It's, can you pass the test? And that's what I'm not so good at, is that sort of thing. If it's simply just, what's this word mean? Oh yeah, no problem. Or like, what's the article saying? Yeah, sure. Write a summary of the article. No problem. But that's not what it is. So that's why it would be difficult for me. I'm sure I could pass it. So it's not like that. But it's more of if I were to take it, it would also take the full day to take it and cost money. So it's my money and my time. And then I could say, oh, I have the TOPIK, whatever. And then, like I said, it expires 2 years later. So why? Yeah. But no, you do not need to have fluent Korean to take the TOPIK. I'll say the opposite, in fact. I hear stories all the time of people who are, I won't say what country they're from, people from other countries who can barely have conversations in Korean, but will still pass TOPIK 6. So it's not equivalent to your level. It's not to say that passing it means you have good Korean, or failing it means you don't have good Korean. And also, it's not really a pass or fail thing. You can get TOPIK 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6. I mean, you don't have to get TOPIK 6 to be a pass. If your goal is to get TOPIK 2 or 3, you can do it and pass it, and great, now you have a TOPIK 2. Zandria, I actually made a video all about Korean humor. I filmed it when I was here during the summer in July, like the end of July. So August, September, October, November. It'll probably be uploaded like next month or something. I have to check my schedule. I don't know. But yeah, so I did a video all about Korean humor, like what types are okay, how you can use it, like in what situations can you use sarcasm and where you shouldn't. So look forward to that video. I had fun time making it. Okay, now I'm back to where I was before. But I don't want to I don't want to go all the way back to where I was before because there was that cafe playing Christmas music. Jessica says, do you know or have met Christian Burgos? I don't think so. The name seems a little familiar though. Like maybe I've heard it, but I can't think if I've seen him before. If I saw a picture though, I'd be able to tell you. I don't know. There are a lot of people like me though. Not who teach Korean. I think I'm the only one, but for speaking it, yeah, there are plenty. Shira says hi from Texas. Yeah, if you're just coming in here, let me know where you're from. I'm interested to know where everyone's watching from. We had some people from like Egypt before. We were like had people from Morocco, and then a bunch of other countries I've never heard of. Some I could swear are fake. Yes, Andrea, take care. Texas. So Officer Mayer says, I think for Spanish-speaking people, learning Korean is a bit easier since the two languages are very similar. I would disagree, but I think for pronunciation, they have an advantage because Spanish, the R sound is a little bit closer to the Korean sound than it is in English. It's not the exact same, but it's closer. So you'll have a little bit of a pronunciation advantage, but technically Spanish would be a Romance language. So from Latin, although English, I guess kind of technically is too, if you like go back really far. But anyway, so yeah, it's gonna be pretty much the same thing. You're gonna have the same hurdles. Bulgaria, Australia, Texas, Nashville, Bay Area, Canada, Florida, South Carolina, Norway, Jinju in Korea. Jinju, nice. Central Pennsylvania, Arizona, Colombia, Albuquerque, Belgium. I didn't think there'd be so many people replying. New Zealand, San Diego. Famous Mexican in Korea, does lots of TV show appearances. I might have seen him then. I just don't know his name. But I'm sure if I saw a picture, I would recognize him. Philippines. Arirang. Arirang. They could be referring to the TV station, or they could be referring to the traditional Korean, well, the Korean folk song, of which there are many versions. Hudson Valley, California. Jessica Ramos says, how long did you study? I've been studying now for over 18 years. So you do not need to study 18 years to get fluent in Korean. I just happen to have been studying for 18 years. I think if you're living here and you're using it on Korean on a regular basis, well, let's see if I can get this guy in my shot. Here we go. The guitar guy. He'll join me. I think if you're living here and you're using it on a regular basis, you're interacting with friends or boyfriend or girlfriend, and you're using Korean all the time, I think you could get fluent in a year, 2 years. But that's a bit still quite tricky. That would take a lot of work. Watching from South Gyeonggi. Officer Mayer asks, any pointers on absorbing what I learned from you? Your teaching is the only one that's stuck. Oh. I mean, I'm glad the teaching can stick, but regardless of where you're learning from, so you could be learning from me or someone else, that's fine. The important thing is that you're practicing it and you're exposing yourself to it. So make sure, I say this every single time, make sure you have something that you can listen to in Korean. A YouTube channel or a variety show, something that you can listen to on a regular basis that you enjoy. And with Korean subtitles preferably, or no subtitles. And also have some place that you can use it. Zero says, do you know of any abroad programs for over 25? I wouldn't be the best person to ask because I've never been a student in Korea before. I just know teaching English is the most common way to get over here. And you get paid for it too. And you're not going to be teaching English 24/7. You'll do it, weekdays during the daytime. And then besides that, you can spend lots of time. You can meet friends. You can, you know, do other Korean stuff during the rest of the time. Rushing War says, do you have a favorite folk tale? I kind of just like, I kind of just like Dokkaebi. I mean, one of the podcasts I listen to is like a Korean folk tale, like horror stories kind of podcast I listen to with my kid. But I think I'd probably still just pick Dokkaebi, which is like, they look like people, but they have magical powers. I guess that's the best way to describe them. They're not like what you might think. They're not like demons, or they're just kind of like magical people. Yeah, that's the best way I can describe it. If you search a picture, you might find random things like monsters. That's not Dokkaebi. Yeah, I don't know. I just think it's kind of cool. There are a lot of folk tales though. I actually thought about doing a short series on folk tales, but I'd have to find Koreans who are knowledgeable about those, who could teach me about them, and I haven't found anyone yet. So if anyone knows another YouTuber or another Korean who's knowledgeable about folk tales, who wants to make a series with me, have them contact me. The frog folk tale, which one? Are you talking about the idiom? The frog in the well? Oh, now it's getting colder. I don't know. I still don't think it's going to snow. Yeah, I still don't think so. Hamoudi asks, is it possible to be fluent in Korean without ever going to Korea? Sure. I mean, if you don't go to Korea, there are plenty of people who learn Korean from Korean parents who don't live in Korea, but they still speak Korean. The difficult thing will be getting exposure to the language and practice, though, which is why being in Korea is the best for that. But if you can't, then still, at least as long as you have people you can practice with, it'll work out. Oh yeah, now it's getting cold. It's getting cold. I want to button up my my jacket. Crunchy Pommel asks, have you ever thought about doing a video on the questions on the Korean nationalization? The citizenship interview. No, I do know a couple of people who've done that, but I'm not in contact with them. But it would be nice to do a video someday about that, like the process to get Korean citizenship. I'm not personally interested in getting Korean citizenship, because if you get the fully Korean citizenship, then you lose your American citizenship. The US doesn't allow dual citizenship from gaining it with another country. There are ways to have it, but not from that. Hyunwoo says hi. Did Hyunwoo say hi? Did I miss something? Hold on, I'm scrolling up to see if I missed something. No, I didn't see anything. Oh, in his live. Is he doing a live? I didn't know he's doing a live. Katie asks, have you ever felt unsafe in any area? No, I have not. But I'm a guy. I think if you're a girl, you might have different experiences. Maybe someone can let me know about that. But I have never. Oh, he's live right now. Oh, that's cool. He's not live streaming outside, is he? Am I gonna bump into him? He's in the studio. Okay. Well, unless maybe his studio is one of these like train cars here. I'll have to look around and see if I can find him. Maybe he's filming in one of these train cars.
그러니까 너무 큰 바닥을 바라보면
Let's see. Brenda says some folk tales in Korean are very grim tales, like kind of gruesome. So it depends. It depends on which folk tale you're talking about. A lot of okay, so there are Korean folk tales that are from Korea, and then there are folk tales that Koreans know, and these are not the same thing. So there are many folk tales that Koreans know, which are actually from Aesop's fables, which we know. So they're the same thing. And those ones are also popular in Japan. They're popular all over the world, but they've been, Koreanized. I guess is that a word? But then there are a lot of actual Korean folktales that are not from like China or Aesop's fables or anything like that. And there are fewer of those, but there are still a lot. And let me just think about them. Yeah, so the thing is, if you hear a folktale and it seems to have like a clear message, like it has a real moral message, it's probably not one of the ones from Korea. It's probably one of the ones from Aesop's Fables. Because I know a lot of the Aesop's Fable ones are promoting like morals, like, oh, this person told the truth and therefore they were rewarded even more, like that sort of thing. It's probably one of the Aesop's Fables ones. A lot of the Korean ones that I've heard don't really have that kind of thing. It's more like this person told a lie their whole life and they suffered because of it. The end. Like that sort of thing. So it's more like this happened and this happened, so therefore this happened. Sort of messages. The Ritz. But yeah, folk tales are something I'm also interested in because, like I said, I listen to a stories podcast with my kid, and it has Korean folk tales in it. So we get to listen to a lot of those. In fact, one of the podcasts I'd probably recommend for Korean learners, it's called, I guess, Agent Leonard, Leonard Yoan. Maybe some Koreans have heard about it. It's a frog, and he goes on adventures and solves mysteries. And they do a lot of folk tales from Korea, as well as other countries. But you get to hear a lot of like Korean folk tales as well, mixed in together, and they're fun. Pinky asks, "What's the temperature out there right now?" Cold. I think it's cold degrees right now. And yeah, the weather report said it's supposed to snow, but I don't know. I don't see snow clouds. It doesn't feel like it's going to snow. And although it's really cold, it doesn't feel like it's going to snow level of cold. Yeah, I can't even see my breath right now. It's just more like it's cold because it's kind of windy right now. And for everyone who's just tuning in right now, feel free to ask any Korean questions. If you're wondering where I am in, or I am near Hongdae right now. Hannah Taylor asks, does it snow often in November? No, never. It snows in December though, but I wouldn't say it often snows in November. Oh, actually, I won't say never. I think it did actually a few years ago snow around this time. But yeah, where I am right now in Seoul, there's no chance of snow right now. I don't know, maybe in another hour, maybe never. I just don't see it. It doesn't feel like it. Taiki says, "Do you feel warm?" What do you think? No, no, it's not warm here. But I did put some hot pek, they say in Korean, those pads that get hot that you kind of stick on your clothes. I did put a couple of those on my shirt before I came out today. So I put one on my stomach and one on my back. So I feel fairly warm, but my hands, I can't really do anything about my hands, so my hands are cold. So if you see any shaking on the camera, it's not from my really cheap tripod, which I got for free as a promotional item. It's not because of that. It must be because I'm cold. Yeah, H Day says, I was there in early October and it was humid and hot. That's right. So so Korea has what they love to say as four seasons. 사 계절, literally four seasons. So they'll talk about their four seasons a lot. And it's true. Technically, you get all four seasons in Korea. You get a snowy winter, you get a pretty spring, you get a really hot summer, and then you get a like an autumn again, which is really pretty with all the autumn colors. The thing is though, spring and autumn combined are like 2 weeks. It's usually quite short. So what happens is you'll go from really, really hot weather all the way into October, and then suddenly toward the middle or end of October, it suddenly starts to get cold, and then gets really cold, and then stays cold, and then it gets freezing in January, February. So you get four seasons, but they're a bit short. Most of the time, it seems to be either like most places, it seems to be really hot summer and really cold winter, and both of those are quite long. So summer, I think, would start from around May-ish, but it really starts getting hot in June. So like June, July, August, September are all like really hot months to be in Korea. And then December, January, February, March are all really cold months in Korea. And the remainder is the spring and fall. You said sounds like the Midwest in the US. I mean, it's pretty much not too different in other places, although LA is an exception because LA always has fairly nice weather. But yeah, I think most places are kind of like that. You get a long hot summer and a long cold winter, and then like 2 weeks of a break between them where you could be outside in a t-shirt. Although, yeah. Still though, if I'm just going outside for like a second, like to go to the supermarket or something, I don't really care. I'll just, I can wear a t-shirt and shorts. It's okay. But for being outside for any long period of time in Korea, you would need appropriate clothing. So yeah, gloves, earmuffs, a coat. I actually normally wear two coats, but today, since I'm wearing my uniform, just this one. Okay, I think we can walk around a little bit more. You say sounds like Canada. Yeah, actually Canada, I've heard it's colder. I know I used to have a friend from Canada who loved Korean winters. He would be like, "Oh, the winters here are so nice." He was a weird guy. But yeah, he would run around. Sometimes I would see him hanging out, and he's like wearing just like a long sleeve t-shirt and flip flops, and it's like snowing outside. Weird guy. But yeah, apparently Canada in some areas can get much colder than here. And yeah, I think for the most part though, Seoul is not too bad. It's not like crazy, but yeah. Hey, Felix asks, do they have something similar to like heated sake in Korea? I'm not a drinker, so I don't know. I don't know much about that. But I would guess they drink the same stuff. It probably is the exact same thing. I don't think it's like a cultural thing though, but I'm sure some people go out and get that same drink. Cal Meckel says, I'm sure LA is great, but it's the earthquake thing that keeps me on the East Coast. Funny, it's the hurricane thing that keeps me on the West Coast. Zing. Yeah, no, earthquakes are they're kind of over talked about. Like Like in Japan, Japan has earthquakes all the time too, but no one really seems to, that doesn't really keep people out of Japan. It's just something you need to be prepared for. Sebyok says, I want to send you warmer gloves. Are these not warm? Do these look cold? I mean, they're not super warm, but yeah, your options are hurricanes, lake effect. What's lake effect? Tornadoes or earthquakes? Yeah, fires are another one you can also add to that list. To be fair, California is always on fire. The whole state at all time, 24/7, California is burning. That's a fact, though. There's always some fire, some gigantic fire in California. I'm laughing. I don't think it's funny. It's just weird. Just because of how dry it is and how windy it can get and how hot it can get during the summer, and all those together just mean the state's always burning somewhere. Yeah, says, would you say Korea has a lot to offer for exploring? I've been to Japan for a month and barely felt like I scratched the surface. Yeah, Korea is the same thing. You could stay here. I mean, I've been learning for 18 years. I've been to Korea more times than I can count. And I found a new place that was really cool. Just last week, I went with a friend. I didn't film a video. We just hung out. But they have, there's so much stuff that's outside of Seoul as well as inside of Seoul that I haven't been to. So I can always find new stuff whenever I'm looking around, like, oh, let's try to go somewhere new. There's always something. Always. Lake effect is pretty much being colder and causing snowstorms by the Great Lakes. Ah, okay. That makes sense then. Yeah, just from the water, there being so much water near that cools the air and makes it colder. That makes sense. I'm just like walking around the same area. Hope you don't mind. There's another area next to here I could go to, which is pretty much more the exact same thing, but it's much busier. So that's why I'm here. This place doesn't have too many people hanging out. It's mostly just people walking through, passing through. Corden asks, can I get around and visit Korea without speaking any Korean? Yeah. Yes. So if you want to know, can you hang out in Korea without speaking any Korean at all? Not even one word. Absolutely. Because signs will have English on them, especially important signs like transportation. All of those will have English next to them. Let's see. People in general will be able to help you. Even if they don't speak much English, they can point to things. They can, basically speak English. So you're not going to have any big problems if you don't speak any Korean. Now, what you do miss out on is all of the experience. You won't get to do lots of things you could do if you spoke the language. But as far as like surviving, getting by, yeah. Just for visiting. For living here, if your job, most jobs do this, but they'll take care of your rent. They'll take care of your bills and all that, so you won't even have to deal with Korean or any of those technicalities at all. Sebyok asks, can you order food without an art card? Yeah, there are some apps that do accept cash when you order or foreign cards, but I'm not sure which ones because I don't use those apps. And I got another good question. So where would I recommend staying if someone is visiting here in Korea? Besides Seoul, that's the obvious answer. Staying right here, actually. I really like this area. I've thought about this a lot. Where should someone stay if they're visiting Korea? You should stay next to the places that you're planning on visiting. You're most likely going to be visiting somewhere around this area, which is near Hongdae. Now, this isn't necessarily the best place to stay or anything, but I think if you've never been to Korea and you're coming here for the first time, it connects with a lot of other places. So even if you're not traveling here, you want to travel somewhere else, this is kind of a good point to be. Anywhere around this area, anywhere Any of the stations around here are fine. So you could also stay, like for example, if you want to stay closer to Myeongdong, which is another popular place for people to stay. I don't personally like going to Myeongdong, but it's a good spot for a location. It's next to a lot of the things you might want to go to. Brenda says there are apps that have Koreans order for you. Interesting. I haven't used any ordering apps lately. I rarely use ordering apps because I'm not someone who likes to order food in general, not in Korea and especially not in the US with how expensive the delivery fee and everything is for the US. I just don't like ordering food in general. If I'm going to eat something, I want to go to the restaurant to eat it. Or maybe I can pick it up and bring it back to my place if it's really close. But I'm not a fan of ordering food and having it get to my house 20, 30 minutes later and it's cold. And then I have to deal with all of the throwing away the trash and cleaning up the area. I'm like, nah, I just want to go to the restaurant and they'll take care of it. So for me, I guess eating in Korea is like the experience of the whole thing, not just the food that I'm putting into my mouth. So I like having that as part of the experience where I don't have to worry about cleanup. I don't have to worry about the food getting cold or getting the wrong item or anything like that. If I want more of a side dish, I can ask. You don't get any of that if you're ordering from delivery. Delivery food in a park would be fun until you have to clean up your trash. Then it's not fun anymore. Oh wow, it's cold now. Before I was saying how it's not that cold, now it's like freezing. And you can't find a trash can. Well, okay, so if you're actually ordering food at some of the places that are popular for people to order food, like the Han River, they do have trash cans there. They have a big dumpster, several, that you can just throw everything into, kind of. But if you're at other parks, yeah, you'd have to carry around your trash. And like, that's not just paper trash that you can stuff in your pocket. This would be like trash that has soy sauce on it. So you really can't touch it. You have to be really careful. It's just a pain. Like, it's just a pain. It's much better to go into a restaurant, take off your coat, sit down, get water from the machine, get some more water, get some side dishes, ask for more side dishes when you finish, and then not worry about cleaning up. Like, that's the best. And you can do that in Korea because the restaurant prices are so affordable. So in the US, if you want to go out to eat, you're looking at, $15 per person, depending on where you are. So like $10, $15 minimum for your meal, plus tax, of course. So now you're at $17-ish, $18, plus tip, right? Because you sat down and the waiter, they brought you your menu. They brought the menu and they filled up your water cup, which you didn't ask for, but you got to tip them. How much? It's got to be 15, 20%, especially these days, 15, 20%. So now you're up to, what's that? Another $4. So now you're at like $22. You just came out to eat by yourself. And now you're paying like $22 just to get a sandwich. Yeah. And you didn't even leave a great tip. That's just the default. So in Korea, though, a basic meal, like you just want something to eat, you can sit down. Any place is going to have options for like $10. If you go to like a fancy place, like they have like pasta and stuff, then maybe like 12 to 14. Oh, sorry, not dollars. I meant one. So in dollars, that comes up to easily like $8, depending on the exchange rate. Right now, about $8. So $8 to $10 is what you're looking at. And there's no additional tip. There's no tip. There's no tax because the tax is included. The restaurants pay that. So you put down $10 bill on the table and you walk out and you're done. And they're happy. You're happy. Doesn't Korea hate? Yeah, there's no tip. It's not that Koreans hate free money. It's that it's not expected. There's no tipping culture. Now, some places, I've heard stories of some places like trying to have a tipping jar here, but there's a lot of pushback. So hopefully it doesn't happen. Hopefully Korea doesn't get any sort of tipping culture. It's terrible. I think the I think the stores just should pay for the employees, pay them a regular wage, and not expect tipping. And then if they need to raise their prices for that, then so be it. It'll still be better than tip. They won't be offended. No, don't tip. Don't tip if you come to Korea. The exception would be is if you just want to give someone money for no reason. Like, I guess to make a comparison, if you go to a restaurant in the US and you pay for your food and you leave, and then you see the waiter leaving the store, they're closing, they're going home, and you walk up and hand them a $5 bill, are they going to be happy about it? Of course. We go, oh, thank you so much. Wow. Oh, you didn't have to do that, right? That's the kind of the same thing in Korea. Like, why do you want to just give away your money to someone for no reason? There is no tipping in Korea. They're not going to be offended by it. They're just going to be confused. Like, okay, free money, thanks. But it's not something they would ever think you're going to do. And if you ever feel like someone's pressuring you to tip in Korea, they're 100% trying to take advantage of the fact that you think there's tipping in Korea. So that might be like a taxi driver might see like, oh, where are you from? Oh, you're from America? And then immediately they know, oh, they have tipping in America. So after they drop you off, they might say, oh, tip. Can I have tip? Thinking that you're just going to, of course, give them a tip because that's what you would do in your home country. Don't be taken advantage of. Yeah, there is no tipping. In fact, if someone's asking you for tip, there's a phone number on the taxi dashboard for the driver with their information and everything. You can just call and report them right there. Like, that's not cool. Yeah, let's not bring tipping culture into other countries. But yeah, there's no tipping in Korea. Zero. Never. Not at the haircut, not for the delivery person, not for the taxi driver, not for restaurants. I have given, with that said though, I have tipped in Korea before. Oh my goodness, it is snowing. It is snowing. Very little. Oh, you cannot see, I'm sure you will not see this on camera, but it is snowing. There are tiny drops of snow falling right now. Yeah. Like, let me know if anyone sees any of the specks, but it is definitely snowing right now. That's so weird. Okay, anyway, so I have paid a tip before in Korea. What happened was, okay, so yeah, tipping is not a thing, never. There is no such thing as tip. But with that said, I have paid a tip. It was because I woke up late and I had to get to the airport with my mom. And a piece of snow just landed on my screen. Okay. And so we called a taxi, and there literally is like an hour or so left before our flight, which I think that flight went to, yeah, that was our flight back to the US. So it was like an hour and a half, and it takes like 30 or so, 40 minutes to get to the airport. But we needed to get to the airport like now because we didn't want to arrive when they're boarding. So we called a taxi, and then I think I told the driver, like, I asked him, oh, how much does it cost to get to the airport? He's like, oh, it's about like, 2만 원, like, 20,000 or so. And I was like, okay, if you can get us there before the end of the hour, I'll give you double or something like that is what I said. And he did, and I gave him double. But it wasn't like a tip, like, oh, thanks for the ride. It was just a literally drive as fast as you can, please. I need to get to that flight sort of situation. So, and then after I gave him a tip. He's like, oh, thank you. That's it. But it was not, there was no expectation of that. Oh, now it's snowing a lot. Now you maybe can see some. I don't know. Let me know if you can see this. I don't know if you can see it on the camera. Oh, let me show it this way. I don't know. Yeah, now it's snowing. Wow. You can maybe see little bit. They're tiny. These are like tiny specks of snow. I don't know if I can catch any. This is not like chunks of snow yet. Oh, I got something in my eye. Ah. But yeah. So Billy told you here, do not tip in Korea. I'm not saying don't be nice, but tip because we don't want to start tipping, an expectation of tipping. Ah, the first snow, I suppose. Wow. I really didn't think it would actually snow today. Why don't you keep yourself warm? Yeah, I put back on my gloves and I still have my earmuffs. I'll be okay. I'm cold, but it's acceptable. I'm within my limits. Corbin says, should I make my own travel plans or go with a tour group? That depends how long your trip is and what kind of trip you like. If you like traveling where every single day is planned out, like this hour I do this hour I do this, then you're going to need to have a tour group unless you already are familiar with Korea, because it won't be possible to do that sort of stuff on your own. But I've never done a tour group before. Let's see. Justine says, I wonder how walkable Korea is. The entire country. Pretty much. You can walk. Someone asked about masks. Hold on. Green-eyed lady says, are people still masking indoors? No, but you will see people still wearing masks a lot on subways and buses. So any sort of public transportation, that's still normal. And some people will still just be masked outside, especially right now during the winter. It's so cold that if you put on a mask, it's actually nice. It saves your nose and your mouth, keeps it kind of warm. So sometimes I'll wear a mask outside, even when there's no one around, just to stay warm. Not today though, but yeah, no, there aren't any more rules about that. So you'll see kind of people doing whatever they want. But I still prefer it on the subway, especially when you sit down on the subway and there's someone, some older man that's consistently just coughing nonstop right next to you, that's clearly sick. But yeah, those cases I really appreciate it. Isn't there a thing where you're supposed to spend the first snow with your significant other? I don't know. I actually haven't heard of that. Is that a thing? Maybe I learned something new today. Okay, Felix asks about phone plans in Korea. You can rent a mobile hotspot from the airport if you're concerned about that. I just use my regular phone plan from the US. It also works in Korea. But every service is going to be different. Some service plans don't do that, in which case you might want to get a SIM card. Someone said, oh, Rhonda asks a question. Is Korea handicapped friendly? um, um, mm, Korea. So you asked Korea. The answer is no. Very no. Seoul. I think some areas, yeah. A lot of areas in Seoul are handicap friendly. There are going to be like alternate pathways to get places you need. There are elevators on the subways. There are buses that can accept wheelchairs. Other than that, no. I would say in general, it's still very behind. So if you're handicapped in any way, and you're not in the major areas in Seoul, you're going to have a bad time. It's going to be difficult. So I would say definitely travel with someone else. Now you still can travel, but you'll just need someone else's help. Especially like, for example, there might be some areas that they'll have they only have stairs, or like maybe it'll be like you can take an escalator up to a certain point, but then the next level you have to go up is only stairs. That's pretty common. Like you'll go shopping in an older building and they'll have an elevator, but the elevator is under construction, it's not working. So if you want to go there, you have to go upstairs. Or they have escalators, but the escalators are broken, so you have to walk up them. It's really common. I kind of feel bad, like, for if you're handicapped and you're trying to travel in Korea, it's not the most handicap-friendly place. And it's better than it was in the past. They are kind of learning that they need to adapt that, but it still has a long way to go. So I hope that they'll continue to improve and maybe ask me this question again in 10 years, and hopefully I can say, yeah, of course, that which would be really nice. Though to be fair, not everywhere in the US is either. But yeah, I'd say in general, though, you'll find a lot more friendliness toward, like, you know, handicapped people, or if you have any special allergies or anything like that. It's really common that you'll get help in the US for that sort of thing. Not so much in Korea. But, you know, give them some time. Shira says T-Mobile has the best international plans. That is no longer true. They used to. Right now, I'm on Google Fi, and their international is much better. T-Mobile was, so this is like really specifics. T-Mobile in the US has free international roaming, but the speeds are so slow, it's unusable. Google Fi has much better speeds, but you pay for every gigabyte that you use, so it's not cheap. It's like $10 per gigabyte, which is kind of ridiculous, since even one of these live streams I'm doing right now will use 2 gigabytes at least. So yeah, it's my lunch money just to stream. But it also works in most countries. Oh yeah, now it's really snowing. These are bigger flakes now. Whoa. They have the unlimited plus. Yeah. So the unlimited, yeah, I know this isn't really about Korean language specifically, but it is about Korea. Google Fi has an unlimited plan. I did it once. The first time that they offered it, that I switched over to Google, they had it. And I did it, but I realized I wasn't even using enough to make it worth it, because it switches over your entire plan. So that includes all members on your plan. So it's me and my wife. And it switches over at, I believe, 8 gigabytes is when it'll actually stop charging you. So that means each person you have to spend $80, so $160, and then it becomes free data. It turns out me and my wife and I weren't using that much data, even when we were doing it unlimited and watching, like, you know, spending all day, you know, watching YouTube and chatting with people, sending photos, all that. I think I used like 7 gigabytes and my wife used like 2. So it would have been cheaper not to buy that and instead just to use data normally. So we decided not to do it again. But if you're someone who uses it for like business, like if you need to be constantly doing phone calls, video calls the whole time you're there and downloading files, then yeah, I think it's worth it. But if you're someone like me who just wants to like stream videos and watch videos occasionally on your phone, it's probably not worth it. Yeah, you can switch to the unlimited in the States. The only thing is that no matter what plan you do, after you've been in Korea for like 2 months, they start to bother you and say your plan's going to get disconnected because they don't want you to be using your plan outside of the US. So that's actually happened to me in Korea. I was like 5 or 6 days away from being disconnected. Fortunately, I was going back to the States anyway, but they were like, yeah, your plan is, you've been outside the country for too long. Your plan's going to get disconnected unless you return back to the US. It's not very friendly for traveling, I'd say, at least not longer trips, but it's fine for short trips. But if you're thinking of being in Korea for like 3 months, it's not going to work. Got a SIM card. A SIM card is the easiest way. So if you're wondering how should you use phone in Korea and you're going to be here for more than a week, just get a SIM card. For me, I don't, because there are so many services I need on my current SIM card. For example, there are websites I need to log in for making videos and stuff that require phone verification. So I would have to keep switching my SIM card back and forth, or at least in my phone settings, I'd have to keep switching the SIM card every time just to receive verification notifications. So it's not worth it for me. But if you're a traveler, then just get a SIM card. It'll be much faster, much cheaper. I can't, I'm like holding up my fingers underneath my gloves. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, it'll be cheaper and less hassle. You can just have, and you'll even get a Korean phone number that way, I believe, too. So more convenient if you're going to be here for a while. You can always purchase an eSIM. Yeah, I'm not sure how it works, but there's also, like, there are the physical SIMs and then there are the electronic SIMs. And it's pretty much the same thing, though, as far as like the end result. It gets you a number, it gets you data. As long as you have a phone that supports the eSIM, which these days phones do. I think though, if you're okay carrying around an extra thing, the Wi-Fi egg might even be a better choice. I just don't like carrying it around, so I don't want to do it. But that's the easiest way. You don't have to change anything on your phone. You just log into Wi-Fi, and then now you have data everywhere you go. But you just have to charge it. You have to always carry it around with you. You have to make sure it's always on. So yeah, it's a bit of a nuisance for me. Especially since I like to walk around light as possible in Korea. So this is what I'm carrying right now. Just this. It has a water bottle. It has a, has my, what else does it have? It has actually nothing in it right now. It's just a water bottle. Oh, and then it also has soap, hand soap. Because sometimes, these days not so much, but back in the past, it used to be more of an issue where bathrooms didn't have soap commonly. Nowadays, though, pretty much everywhere does. But it used to be more of an issue where you'd go into a bathroom and they didn't have any soap. And it still kind of is that way if you go to like a bathroom that's kind of far away. So like anything that's outside of the city, you might still find bathrooms that don't have soap or anything. Like they'll have a sink, but that's it. So I'll carry around, actually it's paper hand soap. So 종이비누, paper soap. And it's like little sheets of soap that come like in a 20 pack or something. You can buy them at Daiso for less than $1. And they're really cool. And you can just kind of rub a couple in your hands and it makes a lot of soap. So you can wash your hands with just one of those or maybe two. Yeah, it is like legit snowing now. The snow though is not staying on the ground, it's melting. So it's falling to the ground, but then it's just melting right after it lands. So this is kind of what it would look like if it snowed in Los Angeles, which is very rare, but it does sometimes happen. It'll immediately melt as soon as it touches anything. And that's what it's doing right now. It's not quite cold enough to stay, but still it is the first snow of the year. So it's kind of cool. Okay, we're going to stream for just another 15 minutes, and then I'm going to get some lunch with the donations I got. Got to find something to eat around here. Lots of choices, though. Oh, it's cold. Yeah, office mayor says, I have those soap sheets where you just need water. That's right. Yeah, I always carry a water bottle. I always carry those soap sheets. You're pretty good with those. So yeah, no soap isn't a common issue anymore if you're in any big city. But as soon as you go out of the city, it becomes an issue again. Now, it used to be there was no soap in most of the bathrooms that I went to. But yeah, fortunately that's gotten better over the past 10 years. And keychain sanitizer. Yeah, hand sanitizer is another thing you might want to carry around with you. I haven't needed it so much. Like I said, since there are places, so many places have soap now in the bathrooms that I haven't needed to carry hand sanitizer. Usually if I need to wash my hands, I just go wash my hands. But it used to be where, you know, you couldn't find soap. There was no paper towels, no soap or anything in the bathroom. So you needed like some bathrooms, like you would turn on the sink and it wouldn't even work properly. I've had that sometimes too, like the really like far away bathrooms and like random remote places that they wouldn't even have water. In those situations, yeah, you need hand sanitizer. But for regular walking around the city and stuff, no, I haven't been needing to carry around hand sanitizer much. Hey, green-eyed lady. Hey, thank you so much. In celebration of your first snow. It's not only my first snow, it's all of Seoul's first snow. Thank you so much. I'm gonna get a nice lunch today. I got $30. It's too bad I don't have a friend I can call to go eat together right now. I'm trying to think of any friends that are in Seoul that are not busy today. I think pretty much all my friends are busy every day. Sebyuk says, gotta bring your own toilet paper. Oh yeah, you're right. That used to be a thing too. Not anymore. At least I would say not anymore, but I'm a guy, so I don't know about the women's bathrooms, but I would say that's no longer a thing. Bathrooms all have toilet paper now. Yeah, thanks again, green-eyed lady. Bribe Hyunwoo, give him $10 if he shows up, and then spend the rest on lunch. Yeah, if Hyunwoo comes out of his office and it turns out that he's actually here in Hongdae, then yeah, I'll buy him lunch. But I won't tell him I got $30 donation. I'll tell him I only got $10, and so he can only get kimbap, and then I'll keep the rest for myself for a bigger lunch. That's what I'll do. Julie says, I heard you need to bring deodorant. Okay, so this was true. You probably heard this from someone who's been to Korea before, who went to Korea a long time ago. Because when I first came here, it was true. Hey, the Ritz to the Rubble, welcome. Thanks for joining. It used to be a problem where you couldn't find deodorant here. The reason is not that Koreans smell or anything like that. It's that they, for whatever reason, their genetics, they don't have the sweat ducts there. I don't know what you call them. They don't sweat very much from their armpits like we do in the West and in other countries. So it just wasn't a thing. Like, you don't need deodorant if you don't smell bad, right? At least not from there. Not to say you never smell or anything, but you wouldn't need it. So you couldn't find deodorant in Korea a long time ago. Now, though, you can't, because you can go to, you know, Home Plus or Emart or any of these major supermarkets, or online, you can order it, and you can definitely find things like shaving cream, you know, razor blades and all that stuff also used to be harder to find. Yeah, deodorant, totally fine. Though the price will be more than what you would pay in the US, I'll say that, unless you want like a Korean brand. If you want like your Old Spice or something like that, it's going to be cheaper just to bring it from the US because it's going to be an import item here. But you can find it. Yeah, it's thanks to our American BO genes. They lack the BO genes. I don't think it's the BO genes that they lack. I don't think it's that. It's a combination of them not sweating from that part of their body and not having the body hair in that area. It's like a twofold issue. So it's not that they never sweat and they never smell, but when they do sweat, it's not from that area as much. And when they do smell, it's not as much because of that. Yeah. And I mean, you can kind of fix that problem if you want. They sell a stick that you can like rub on your armpit, and it burns. But what it does is it makes it so your body doesn't sweat from that area. And then you no longer have bad BO anymore. And I've used it before, not because I'm someone who has bad BO, not especially, but I've used it before. I just stopped using it because it makes your armpit itchy all the time. But you can find them on the internet. It's like a regular item. It's not special. It's just like a little stick that you rub on your armpit. You do it like, I think once every day or something like that for a while. And yeah, you just stop sweating there. And you no longer will, your body will still sweat, but it'll sweat from other parts of your body like normal, you know, from your arms, your neck, all that stuff. And it doesn't make you suddenly start sweating like crazy from everywhere else. It just diverts from that one area. And then, yeah, you'll no longer have BO whenever you sweat a lot. So yeah, it's pretty cool. I just didn't like that it made my arm itchy, and I don't smell that bad that I decided to keep using it. Yeah, smelly versus itchy. I picked smelly, but I don't know about you. Kills the armpit cells. I don't think that's what it does. It's not that it kills the armpit cells, because you'll do that, the bacteria, just by taking a shower every day anyway. But what it does is it makes it like changes it so that you don't sweat from there in the first place. I don't know how it works. Maybe it's just like a light acid or something, but it makes it so you don't sweat from your armpits in the first place. So I remember after I would use it, also my armpits would be kind of dry. But I don't know, maybe it just works by burning the area. It's like napalm for your armpits, and it just burns it so bad that bacteria can't grow there. I don't know. The dankest memes. Wow. The dankest memes. Thank you so much. Oh, wow. I can get a nice lunch today. Korea's awesome. I was stationed at Dongducheon. I was actually at Dongducheon this past weekend. I actually visited the, oops, I think it cut out for a second. I was actually in Dongducheon just this last weekend. There's like a Japanese style village there. Just, you know, you can walk around and hang out there. I went there with a friend, quite out of the ways, but it was really fun. Here's to a better lunch, and get some macaroni for yourself. Don't mind the name. Thank you so much. Nice lunch and a light dinner. Yeah, definitely a light dinner, because I said I had 2 cookies for breakfast. So I'm gonna have a nice big lunch though, and then a light dinner, or maybe no dinner tonight. Most of you don't know this, but I watch my weight. Believe it or not, I'm not on like a special diet or anything. I just watch my weight. I just watch it. I watch it go up, I watch it go down. But I'm cautious about not getting too big that I can't wear this shirt anymore, because this shirt is small size and I don't have a medium size or a large size. So, and same with this, like, just everything I do, like, I don't want to have to buy new clothes. So I'm always watching my weight. But what that means is I don't have the willpower to not eat the delicious food when I'm in Korea. So instead, all that I do is I just try to eat fewer meals. So I'll eat whatever I want for lunch, because I can't control how much I eat. It's just so hard. It's so much tasty food in Korea. But what I can do is then I just don't eat dinner or something like that. So I might do that for today, just get something really nice, and then just not have dinner. When you come to Korea, you'll notice though, there's just so much food. You go to any restaurant, sit down at any restaurant, and you're like, oh, I want to get that. Oh, I want to get that. I want to get that too. And it's just really hard not to buy everything you want. Well, let me check here. XOMOX asks if I have any suggestions for good places to shop, because clothing sizes in Korea are typically smaller. Yes, that's true. But if you go into any store, they'll let you try on the clothes. And Korea does have medium size and large size. I would say Korea's large size, though, might be maybe America's medium size, or maybe America's large size. It's not a huge difference, though. It's just Korea has more options for smaller body types. So in the US, you go to a store and they'll have plenty of mediums, they'll have plenty of large, extra large, but they might only have a few small and no extra small. Whereas here you'll find the majority would be like small or extra small, and you might have to ask to find a larger size. So depending on your size, so if you're someone who normally would wear large, extra large, then you might have a bit of a difficulty, because the stores might not have your size in stock. That doesn't mean you can't though. Try a department store. Department stores would still have a lot of the sizes that you might need. If not, though, definitely online. But any store will let you try on the clothes. So you can always ask, hey, what's your, do you have a bigger size than this? Or they can check. If they do, then you can try it on. If it doesn't fit, you don't have to buy it. But yeah, just like the US, you can try on clothes before you buy it. I think, though, most of the time when I'm buying clothes, if it's a shirt or pants, something that I'm going to wear like a lot, like something I'm going to regularly wear, I'll always try it on before I buy it. If it's something that it's like, I just want it like for like a costume or something, you just want to wear it for a short time, then it's not as big of a deal. I'll just order it. Okay. We're back here. I'm just going to stream for like 5 more minutes. Oh, it is cold. But it did stop snowing. Officer May says, how much money do you say is a good amount to have when visiting Seoul for 3 weeks? After you pay for your hotel and your plane ticket and all that stuff? You're traveling. Okay, so you have to pay. See, this is a difficult question. It depends what kind of stuff you want to do. So if we're not including activities that you decide, oh, I want to go to visit this palace or something, then you have to consider those costs. Or I want to see this concert. That's your own. You have to consider that. Or shopping. But if you're just thinking about, you just need enough money for the transportation and food and snacks. Food is going to be $10 to $15 a meal, no matter where you are. And unless you want to have like samgyeopsal for every single meal 3 times a day, you're probably only going to need to eat that once a day at most. So let's just say $15 a meal, so $30 a day for food, $10 a day for transportation. So now you're at like $40 a day just to get by. And then maybe say another $5 or $10 for like a drink and a snack. You see some street food you want or something. Okay, so now we're at $50 a day. Yeah, I would say $50 a day is going to get you it's going to get you quite far. You can do pretty much eat anything you want, go anywhere you want to go. But anything on top of that would be like souvenirs, or if there's special events you want to do or things like that. Have you decided on what to eat for lunch? Denzel asked. No, I have not. I am going to figure that out once this finishes. I'll probably find something on the way back. So anything that's along the way. There's lots of stuff in this area though. So I'm not really worried about finding something. Brenda says, our group got by with an average of $1,000 per person. We ate, did activities, bought some gifts, transportation several times a day. We spent on average $50. Yeah, that sounds about right. And I'm not saying $50 a day is the minimum. I'm saying $50 a day is a good amount, because minimum, I mean, you could do a $10 meal, $10 of food per day, and take the subway like a couple times, and you can get by on $15 a day, and like that's it. But you're walking down the street and you see like some place selling an interesting like Korean snack, and you want to try it. It's $5 or whatever. Yeah, like buy it, right? Or you're walking by and you see like a cool souvenir that's $20. Like buy it. Like that's kind of like you're in Korea. You're not just in Korea because you're surviving. You're in Korea because you're taking a trip, Enjoy your trip. $50 a day, I think, is the minimum to enjoy your trip. Anything less is just going to be like survival. If you want to like really splurge, $100. $100 will let you like pretty much, you can take taxis sometimes, not everywhere, but you can take like, oh, I want to go over here, and so I'll just take a taxi. It's late. You can go to a restaurant and order like 2 courses and share them. You could, when you go to the store and you see a cool t-shirt, you just buy it. Like that sort of amount of money would be starting at around $100 a day. Like if you really want to splurge on your trip, $100 a day, I think would be pretty nice. And of course you can spend way more than that too, depending on what you want to do. Sunamu has an interesting question I'd like to answer. Oh, and then The Ritz, the Rebel says Kukbop. Yeah, Kukbop is always a good choice. Exomok. Oh, hey, thank you so much. I can't read your name, but thank you so much. XOMOX for the $10 donation toward today's lunch. It might have to be today's dinner too, because there's no way I could spend $50 on lunch, even as it is. Like, where could I spend 50? Even if I got like two, like portions for two people to have samgyeopsal, it's not going to be more than like 25 bucks, maybe 30 bucks at a nice place, like a fancy place. I can't spend $50 in one meal. That's like impossible. Or maybe if I go to like Itaewon and go to like a foreign restaurant, like a fancy Spanish restaurant, then I can maybe spend $50 for like two people. It's ridiculous. Thank you so much. I'm gonna get a nice lunch today. Maybe it'll go over until tomorrow. My lunch for tomorrow. Because tomorrow I haven't figured it out either. Yeah, it's gonna be a fancy meal. Okay, and then Tsunamu did ask an interesting question I wanted to answer. You said, I plan to bring my 12-year-old son. Ah, yeah. Oh, yeah, that'll be a great trip. So you're asking, what are some things he and I can do for a week? He would love the outdoor markets, and he would love visiting the palaces. And he would also really like Everland. I would take him to Everland. Go to Everland with him for a whole day. Go to any of the outdoor markets. I've done a few in my videos. You can see some stuff that I've done with my kid as well. Outdoor markets are great. Kids would like that. Yeah, there's just a lot of stuff like that. Like any sort of theme park, amusement park, they'd like as well. Hey, Johanna. Hold on. I don't know how much that is. Can someone I can't check on my phone. Can someone translate? I mean, sorry, not translate. Convert SEK into USD. I'm gonna guess it's like $10. I'm just guessing. But you say great live, and first time I've ever watched a YouTube live. Really? First time you've watched any YouTube live? Well, it's an honor. Thank you so much. Yeah, Everland would be great for a kid. You're on point nearly 10. Oh, thank you so much. I was just guessing. I was like, is that like $10? Yeah, museums. That's right. Museums would be a great choice too. And there are tons of museums in Korea. They have actually, I'm not sure if the Trick Art Museum would be cool for kids. I think kids would probably like it too. But yeah, museums are going to be great. XOMO says, you got to take your wife to a fancy dinner. She's not in Korea with me right now, but I'll be back with her next week. So I'm going back to the US next week. But she'll get her own vacation later, so don't worry about her. She lets me come to Korea by myself. I let her come to Korea by herself. And then we come to Korea together in the summer. Korean War Museum. Oh, yeah, actually, I know you're joking, but I think kids would like the Korean War Museum because they have lots of like tanks and like weapons there, like, reconstructed artillery and stuff like that. It's pretty cool. They have lots of stuff I think kids would like there too. Officer Mayer says, my daughter and I have been wanting to visit Seoul, and she got me into K-pop. She almost died last year from, wow. Definitely get to Korea then. It's snowing. Right now it's stopped, but it was snowing actually. And everyone here saw it. Just until about 30 minutes ago, it was snowing here too. Quite hard actually. Though it was the first snow of the whole year here in Seoul. Tsunami says, I visited the Korean War Museum many times. I actually re-enlisted for a second contract. Oh, nice. Yeah, Korean War Museum, I liked it. I thought it was fun, but it was too big. That was the problem. I was planning on just going there for like 2 hours, 3 hours. We barely saw everything there. Like we just quickly rushed through all of the stuff. And I made a video about it actually with one of my friends, Senmur. And I wish we had the whole day there, because there really was like so much stuff to do. Korean War Museum. Yeah, any of the palaces, any museums, any theme parks, I think kids would love. And then shopping too. So like walking around any market. Daiso is fun. I mean, I like Daiso, but I think kids would like that too. Kyobo bookstore is really cool. Oh yeah, they probably love Kyobo. Kyobo is just a major bookstore chain, and some of the Kyobo bookstores are gigantic. So it's almost like you can just kind of go there and hang out and, look at Korean books. They have non-Korean books there too. So, buy him some books if you can carry them back. 안녕하세요.
I saw you.
Oh, you know me?
Yeah, I saw you that Honda Street.
Yeah, I'm just walking around here.
You got your personal YouTube channel.
Yeah, I'm streaming right now.
You streaming right now.
Yeah.
Ah, where are you from originally?
아.
No.
한국 분이세요?
한국 사람.
아, 한국 사람이세요?
네, 한국 사람이에요. No.
인사하시겠어요?
If I know Africa channel,
아프리카 이거 유튜브요.
YouTube.
네.
I got also the personal YouTube channel.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I'll give you my card. Oh, actually, I didn't bring. Did I bring my card? Yeah, I brought my card.
Worked as a consultant in Yeouido.
여의도.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
I next time, where are you from?
I'm from America.
From America.
Yeah,
What's your name?
Billy.
Really? Ah, you teach Korean?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
He does. Yeah, he doesn't want to say hi, but
This is the personal and official.
Yeah.
Give you the answer. Usually I don't give them my name card.
oh yeah. Let's see. Okay.
You know that it is.
Officer says, "Would you take about 10,000 USD?" Oh, that's ridiculous. If you're bringing $10,000 to Korea, you would never spend that in a couple weeks. But if you're talking about like hotels, you could easily spend thousands on hotels because some of the nicest hotels here could be about like 300, I think. Hey, Jackie Lee, thank you. How much do you think the Silla hotel costs each night? Is that like
20 million there, 20만 원?
yeah?
20만 원, 25만 원.
So it's about like $200. So
I don't. Yeah, I will keep you.
that's fine. That's fine. Anyway, you can find me on YouTube.
You used to find me my YouTube, but I got two YouTube different channel.
Oh yeah.
But
Let's see. So $200 a night for your hotel. So you're gonna
but don't. You from the which state? New York? Did you?
California.
Okay. I stay in California, Santa Barbara.
Oh yeah, I know there. Yeah.
You know that?
Yeah, I know that. I'm from LA.
How do you know? No, I'm from the. I stayed in there in Santa Barbara, San Diego.
Yeah.
That information, you know that already?
No. I know the area.
Yeah, I know that. California is but even much bigger than even Korea.
Yes.
Yeah, I will give you that.
Okay.
Really? It's good to see you.
Thank you. Yeah, nice meeting you.
Nice meeting you. Yeah. But how many subscribers are in there?
About 600,000?
600,000?
Yeah.
600,000?
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
60만 명?
네.
Very big channel.
Yeah, it's a big channel.
Well, I'm very politely asking that you are the professional English Korean tutor.
Yes.
You 연세 오사강 or
No, just YouTube.
just YouTube.
Yes.
You will have the plan to stay in Korea a little bit.
Do I have friends in Korea?
No. Have a plan.
Do I? Oh, sorry, plan.
Strategy.
Yeah.
Strategy to stay in Korea.
No, I'm going back to the US
When?
next week.
Next week.
Yeah.
Today I will inform you in here in your YouTube channel. Well, you got the editor.
No,
No,
just me.
just
me.
streaming.
Yeah, just streaming today.
This is the on air.
Yes.
Now right here
Yes.
in on air.
Yes.
Can we check Korea?
What's that?
Can
Oh,
we
yes,
check
this
Korea?
area. Yes.
You back to in California?
Yes.
Oh, you teach Korea.
Yes. So yeah, I think $1,000 would get you hotel for a week for like 5 days. So 10,000 would be ridiculous. Like if you brought $10,000 to Korea, you're living the high life.
Yeah, you are. But you know that that the middle upper class in, as you know, in this area, many MKE, PK, and Yonsei and Sogang and Ipa is granting on the wood and different uh, background. Yeah. So, but you don't. I'm not sure you need me or not, but if possible, but you don't have the phone number in here.
Oh no, I don't have a Korean phone number.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So if you have the opportunity to contact me, you can call.
I'll
Okay.
keep your card.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But
Thank you.
don't probably you should money, all right? I know that. Oh no, 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 no. You 초상권, you know that 초상권?
Yeah, yeah, 알아요.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So you have to very sensitive and very.
Yeah. Josie, I know.
I'm politely asking that.
Yes, yes.
Yeah. Okay.
All right, well, take care. Have a good day. You too. It's not uncommon. This happened also when I was in Suwon. Sometimes people hear English and they'll just kind of approach you just because they see you're speaking English, and it's not normal though. I'll say it's not a normal situation, since Koreans will not come up to you and talk to you for any reason, for the most part. So if someone does, be a bit cautious about it. I won't say anything else. Sebyuk says, at least he wasn't from a cult. That's true. Yeah. One time the last time it happened to me was in Suwon. So that was also during a live stream. Actually, I mean, the last time it happened in a live stream was in Suwon. It happens sometimes other times. And that guy, I think, was trying to like pick me up. I think he was trying to see if I was available. You can find it. It's still up on my channel. It's like, yeah, I'm sorry. Not this guy though. Yeah, Officer Mayor, 10,000 for stay and okay, for flight. I see, including your flight. Then that's starting to get a little more reasonable because you're going to easily spend 2,000 per ticket round trip. So now you're at 6,000 for just the flights. That leaves 4,000 for hotel. You're going to spend, say you stay in a really nice hotel. So you stay in the $200 a night, super fancy hotel. No need to do that because you're just sleeping there. Batter Rabbit, thank you for the $2 donation. I'll add that to my lunch for today and tomorrow. Yeah, I don't think I would recommend staying in a fancy hotel if you come to Korea. Just stay at an Airbnb, like $50 a night, or even cheaper if you can afford it. Just like someone $50 to $100 a night for an Airbnb. You don't need to stay at a fancy, expensive hotel that you're only going to be sleeping at every day. Like there's no need. You're just going to sleep, wake up and shower and leave. And I wouldn't do it. Kadja says, would you say the food to the money ratio is the same? No, it's cheaper here. So you could spend $10 and get full. You could not do that in the US. So this is talking about restaurants. Yeah, restaurants are much cheaper here. You would sit down, you pay $10 to $15, and you get a big meal, and you walk out really full. Three or 4-star hotels are great, and they have convenient location. Yeah, that's true. So I don't know. It's up to you. I don't think the expense is worth it, even if I had the money. I think hotels are just overpriced for what you get. Anyway, I'll take a couple other questions and then we'll go for today. It's cold. It's getting really cold now. Maybe it's going to start to snow again or something. Josie, yeah, thanks for coming. Caddy just says it's the same for groceries. No, groceries in the US are much cheaper than Korea. Korean groceries are quite expensive. Rob. Hey, Rob. What's up? Rob's one of my friends, also a fellow YouTuber. I don't want to read your comment out in public. Korean people are gonna think I'm crazy. Free Marv report. Rob does a one day we'll do a collab. One day we'll do a collab, something related to Korean transportation. Free Marv report. No. So it's a Home Alone reference with Marv, how he screams really loud in those movies when the spider is on his face. It's a very specific reference. Anyone who's seen Home Alone though knows what I'm talking about. Sebyuk says you need the $10,000 to afford fruit in Korea. That is true. Yeah, if you want to have like nice fruit, you know, cheese, anything like that, it's going to be more expensive in Korea. Like you might get like a small box of strawberries for like $10 or something like that. Eggs also can be expensive, though I think they came back down, but they were really expensive for one time. I'm only going to stream for just another minute, and then I really need to go because I should eat lunch, and it's just getting super cold now. But yeah, if you're 3 people, 3 weeks, $10,000, that's going to be an insanely nice trip. You would have so much, you'd buy so many souvenirs, I'll say. That's like way more than you would ever spend on your food. Eat lunch or shivering. Oh yeah, well I'm shivering because it's really cold, but also because I was holding my for a minute I was holding this stand, and the stand is just solid metal, so it's really cold when you touch it. It's not so cold if I just like have it open like a tripod though. Yeah, Officer Mayor says it's cheaper to eat out there for every meal while visiting. That is true. Because if you wanted to cook in Korea, you can't just buy the ingredients you need. You have to buy like, you know, you only need a little bit of cabbage, but you have to buy a whole head of cabbage. You need, you know, the cooking chopsticks. You need a frying pan. You need all these things to do cooking. It's just easier to eat out. So unless you're living in Korea always, in which case it is cheaper to cook. Otherwise, I would say no. Tsunamu says one of the coldest days was 2 degrees Fahrenheit. It gets colder than that, though. It'll get below 0. I think. And then the thing is, it'll be way below 0, but then on top of that, it'll be really windy. So even just below 0 is really cold, but then wind makes it all like blow in your face constantly, and I'll have my nose be like almost purple. Sometimes it'll get really, really crazy cold during the like January, February. But fortunately, I never come here during January, February. Not because I hate that, not just because I don't like the weather, but because I wouldn't be able to do any work if I were to come here during that time. I wouldn't be able to hold my camera. I wouldn't be able to walk outside. I'd have to make sure everything's planned in advance. Oh, hey, 70s Disco King. First time ever seeing you live, sure. Wait, no, you've seen my lives before. Unless you mean first time ever seeing you live. Like I'm really living right here. Living the life. Shivering in the freezing temperatures where it was snowing. It was actually just snowing here 30 minutes ago. Brenda says, or stay at a nice Airbnb, has everything for cooking. Yeah. But you're still not going to want to cook, because do you really want to, like, you're in Korea, do you really want to go to the store and buy like squash, cabbage, like meat, and then cook and spend like 3 hours doing the dishes because the sink is like the size of a shoebox? No, you don't. Just go out to eat. Your time in Korea is precious. Tsunamu, yeah, no problem, Tsunamu. Thanks so much. That'll go toward my lunch fund. I've got like $80 in my lunch fund. There's no way I could possibly spend $80 on lunch. No way. That would be impossible in Korea. Thanks for answering my questions. Really enjoy your content. You've taught me so much already. Hope to catch your next live stream. Yeah, thanks so much, Tsunamu. Okay, now I really need to go. Now I really need to go because it's lunchtime. I'm cold, and frankly, I have to use the bathroom. Okay? So thank you everyone for coming, and hopefully I'll catch you again. Next time I'll do a live in Korea, though, won't be until next summer, so next May. But as soon as I go back to the US, so in a couple weeks, I'll do another live class. So I'll see you again there. Oh, hold on. I smell meat. Get up. Dangus memes, you're not letting me leave. I did not say I need more lunch money. I did not say I can't. I have to pee. I have $100 now in my lunch money fund. Thank you so much, the Dingus meme. Like I said, there's no way I could even spend 20. Like honestly, I couldn't spend more than $25 by myself if I tried, no matter where I went for lunch. There just isn't that expensive kind of food in Korea. And any place that would cost more than that would need a reservation. And I wouldn't go by myself. You'd have to have like a group of 2 people at least. So there's no way I can spend more than like $20 today. And my lunch is probably going to be like $10 no matter where I go, even if I get a ton of food. Okay, let me go. Let me go. I know it's hard, but I'll see you again when I'm back in the US. We'll do a live stream. I'll teach you some Korean. Save your Korean questions till then. This was fun hanging out, even though it's really cold. And I will see you all again next time. I'm going to try to find that. There's like someone cooking meat right here, though. So I'm going to try to see if there's anything right around here. If not, I'll get something on my way home. Take care, everyone. 그럼 다음에 또 봐.